Over the past 3 years, I just, my world was flipped upside down, literally, in such a short period of time that I begin to question everything, right? One of the things that really hit me was comparison. What have I done with my life? After 10 years of almost basically 10 years of marriage, found myself looking what have I accomplished? And with a shallow mindset, or a mindset that was heavy in comparing myself to others, I felt like I'm so far behind. And it wasn't until after the divorce, when the dust settled, that I really looked around and I was like, I have a master's degree, I did time in the military, and what do I have to show for it? Everything that I worked for, I had nothing to show for it. And I began to panic. I begin to wonder how I'm going to financially support me and my daughter. I begin to have all of these questions, and they stemmed from me looking to my left and to my right, seeing what everyone else around me was doing, my age, even younger, allowing my mind, allowing the enemy to just take over. And I fell for the trap. And I would spend a lot of time in that dark place of, I feel like I'm behind in life. So back then, that was my reality, that I am behind. But little did I know that the real reality was that I was on time. But it wasn't until later on in my journey that I truly believe God allowed me to see that you're not behind. And when I begin to look at the 10 years, the experience that I had during that time, there was so much that I have accomplished. There's so much value that I brought to my life. There's so much richness in just my experience in the journey of where I've been, what I did, and just living a life that I honestly didn't expect for myself. If any of you all come from my previous, well, it's the same platform, but the channel that I used to have, the content that I used to make, I documented my journey coming out of the military. Unknowing, I had spent 10 years learning the craft of being a content creator, from video editing to filming to photography. There's so many different skills that I was acquiring during this time of being a stay-at-home mom, of being a stay-at-home wife, having these degrees but not exercising them, having this experience in this schooling in the military and not having exercised any of that. There was still value in my life. And coming out of that place of darkness and deception, of thinking that I'm behind, thinking that I'm late, I was able to see that. I was able to see wow, you accomplished a whole lot. It may not have been based on your career path in the military, nor is it really exercising your degrees, but look at what you're accomplished. And so now I have a wealth of knowledge and experience from all three of these different areas. But I was only able to see that once I calmed down and began to focus on the truth. And none of that would have been possible had I not begun my journey with God. God's timing versus pressure. Once I realized that, okay, you are a single mom now. You are the parent of the household. You have to make some choices and create a plan that's going to financially stabilize yourself and your daughter, not just right now, but in the future. And so when I looked at that, and I looked at the lack of experience that I had, then looked at the skills that I had acquired. And I was like, that's experience, absolutely. So maybe you might be thinking, I have no experience because I don't have a degree. I don't have any experience because I didn't really have a career. Well, it doesn't matter if you just sit with God and maybe just ask him to show you the things that you do have experience in. Because if you've lived any bit of time, you've gone through some stuff, you've seen some stuff, that's an experience. We just don't really think about it that way. And then I begin to realize God's timing is perfect. Yes, I wish my circumstances were different. Yes, I wish I never did this. Yes, I wish I had that. Yes, yes, yes. But there is one thing that is for sure. And is that this is happening according to God's will. And once I understood that, I stopped being frustrated with how everything is looking. How it doesn't look the way I wanted it to. And then when I was faced with pressure from the world, whether it's from family or friends or whether it's my own doing, you know, sometimes you just look and see and you hear your friends and you're like, wow, you're so accomplished, you X, Y, and Z, and then you begin to feel insecure. And yes, I did go through that. But now I can be confident in the fact that I'm walking side by side with God, trying my absolute best to be in alignment with him. And if he wanted that for me, it would be in my hands right now. But it is in reach. And I know that if I keep walking with him, he's going to continue to provide in ways that I never expected. He's going to continue to provide me with resources that I didn't even know I needed. He's going to continue to have people show up in my life and support us, me and my daughter, in the way that they have. God's timing. He's never late. I'm recording much later than I normally would, but today was the perfect day to record this video because I am just blooming. I'm just blooming in areas of my life that I never saw myself. I always pictured myself, you know, working and doing something else. And here I am. God is revealing things to me and I'm excited about them because they're things that I really enjoy. They're things that I'm passionate about. And he's walking me. He's walking me to where I'm supposed to be. I'm not behind. It doesn't matter what this person says. I'm not behind. So when the enemy comes with his negativity and deception, I can say no. I smile in the face of the lies because I know that God is walking, I'm walking with him and he has something great planned for me. And the more I walk with him, the little bit that he reveals to me, y'all. Has he ever done that to you? Just give you just a little bit. And the more you have faith and walk with him, he shows you a little bit more. And so there's some really amazing things coming to this channel, things that show a whole nother side of me as God reveals these things. And this one particular thing, it's not that I didn't know it was there. It's just that over the years of being a mom and being in my previous marriage, it got buried. Sometimes you lose yourself and it's like God is waking it up. He's waking us all up. And maybe you needed to hear this today, that your pace in which you go is not validated by this world, but by God. And even validation in God, that doesn't even sound right. But your value, your worth, your timing is on God, not on this world, not on your family, not on your friends, not on people on the internet you don't even know. Let's use this opportunity to just check in with God. Father, am I operating in your divine time? What am I trying to rush? When you're calling me to be still, when you're calling me to know that the pace that you have me going, that it's right. Father, we ask that you help us see all the areas in our lives where we're moving just a little bit too fast or too slow. And we ask you to establish our cadence, establish our pace, Father, so that we're going at the right speed. You're not behind. You're on time. And don't forget that.